Hello everyone, my name is Nicole. I am the owner of a company called Emoji Pill LLC. We put out an app about a year ago called HiveMoji. I'm sure you probably can figure out the premise behind the name HiveMoji. So I wanted to do this video to shed some light on my story due to some recent news stories and social media articles that I've seen regarding two companies that received a cease and desist letter from Beyonce's legal team with regard to some products that they were putting out that were Beyonce themed or Beyonce inspired. So I believe the first one was a brewery that put out a Beyonce inspired beer, and the second company was hosting a pop-up shop which was to have a Beyonce theme. Now, I was very reluctant to put up this video. I actually received my cease and desist letter in June of 2017 and haven't spoke on it since then. The reason why I wanted to speak on it now is I was encouraged because of the two stories that came out, and I want to shed some light on my story, and who knows, I can possibly encourage someone else, inspire someone else. Someone may be going through the same thing that I'm going through. Maybe they'll get some knowledge from this video. You know, I didn't want to put it out there for fear of rocking the boat, so to speak. But here it is. So let me give you a little background on HiveMoji. This is truly a testimony. That's exactly what it is, and it's my testimony. So I am not a designer. I'm not a graphic artist. I'm not a programmer. I'm not a developer. I don't know the first thing about developing an app. I was sitting here one day, and the idea came to me like a light bulb. HiveMoji. So obviously you associate hive with bee. So that was the premise of my app. It was the bee. If you think about some of the hives, you have Little Kim Hive, you have Future Hive, you have obviously the most popular one, Beehive. So when I got the idea, I immediately thought, okay, this is something that can possibly be great because it doesn't exist. There wasn't an app out there like that. I don't think there still is an app out there like that. And it was an original idea. At the time that I received that idea, and I like to point out that it was a God-given idea, it wasn't me. The time I received the idea, there was also a campaign going on at the time called Save the Bees. And obviously they were trying to bring awareness to the extinction of the bee population. So in conjunction with that, I thought that this was going to be a dope idea to bring awareness to the extinction of the bee population while also trying to capture the essence of the hives because it hasn't been done yet. So I put up an ad for a designer. I put up an ad for a programmer. I didn't know where I was going to get the funding to get the app started off the ground. One day I happened to just mention my idea amongst a group of friends, and two of my friends immediately jumped on the idea and decided that they wanted to be investors in the idea. So I didn't know how I was going to fund it, but somehow God made a way, and my two friends stepped up, and I had two partners. Now, I didn't know how I was going to fund my portion of the app. So this is where, you know, my testimony comes in. So at the time, my grandmother had, unfortunately, she had passed at that time. And she didn't leave me any money. You know, she wasn't, you know, rich or anything like that. So I had the task of cleaning up her apartment and packing her stuff up, throwing out what needed to be discarded, And my grandmother was a older Southern woman. You know, they kept their money in the banks, but they also kept a little stash around the house too. So by the time that I cleaned and packed everything from her apartment, all the money that I found under her mattresses, pinned to her robe, in the bathroom, under the TV, under the rug, any way you can imagine. By the time I finished cleaning her apartment and finding all the money that she left behind, it happened to amount to the exact amount of money that I needed for my portion of the investment. So if that ain't God, I don't know what is. I was starting from nothing. I had nothing, didn't know anything about being an Apple developer, didn't know anything about apps besides using them and downloading them. And somehow, some way, right now, I'm in the iTunes store, okay? God is good. So I said all that to say, you know, what God has planned for you, can't anyone come in between that. No one can stop that. This was a God-given idea that was put inside of me. I had no clue how I was going to do anything, and I basically stepped out on faith. Every move that I made, I didn't know how I was going to pay for it, how I was going to do it. I stepped out on faith each time, and each time God showed up. So I knew that this was something destined for me. And it's evident because, you know, every hurdle that I faced, God made a way. And I'm in the iTunes store right now. I can call myself a app developer. So you could imagine, after putting in time, energy, money, losing sleep, how disappointed and how much it crushed me, you know, to receive this cease and desist letter to completely remove the app from the App Store. Now, at this point, I haven't, you know, I really haven't even promoted it the way I wanted to. I haven't even shared it with my family and friends because this cease and desist letter has been a dark cloud over my head, put it that way. So when they originally sent the letter, it was just, you know, remove the app. You are misappropriating her likeness. Now, I want you guys to take a look at the images and then you tell me. I'm not using any images of anyone's faces. I'm using the a bee, that has just been turned into, you know, a female bee, just basically based on the ideas that I had. Now, I know you guys are familiar with the Cheerios bee, right? Cheerios bee has been around for a long time. Some of you may be familiar with the kids movie called The Bee Movie. Those were my inspiration for the actual base of the image. The Bee Movie definitely plays on the human nature. You see bees in all different aspects. So that was where the majority of my inspiration came from. Now, the mistake that I made was mentioning Beyonce in my advertisement and in my descriptions that are on social media. So in my descriptions, you know, you'll see a sentence that may say, created by a Beyonce fan, because I am a fan. I have every album. Everyone that knows me knows I'm a fan. Created by a Beyonce fan or inspired by a Beyonce fan. So I thought that made it very clear that it wasn't something that Beyonce was behind by saying it was the first ever official fan created HiveMoji app or Beyonce inspired app. So I thought that would immediately let people know that It's not something that she put out, right? It's clear that a fan put it out. So the mistake I made was using the actual word Beyonce in my advertisements, because the actual word Beyonce, she has copywritten. That's totally understandable. What I don't understand is the claim that a bee drawn from scratch misappropriates her likeness. Again, this is original idea. This is something that the artist drew and has rights to. It's her image. So I don't completely agree with that. So you guys take a look, www.hivemoji.com, and you let me know. Now, this was only meant to lift her up even more, as I think the other two companies that got the other cease and desist letters, the beer and the pop-up shop, I believe that they were just honoring her as well. And I was honoring her and honoring the hives and basically just trying to lift her higher. So there was no part of me that had any maliciousness or trying to, hurt anyone or trying to take money out of anyone's pocket. When you are great and God has destined you to be great, it's only right and it only makes sense that you're going to inspire others. Your greatness is going to inspire additional greatness in other people. That's a blessing. That's a good thing. I could only hope that one day I could be that great and inspire greatness in other people. So my intent was, just to give that aura and that presence to the hives while lifting her up and, still complimenting her in a way. So I'm a very creative person. Every bone in my body is creative. So this was also a creative outlet for me, while feeling confident and good that, wow, I just, created something that I knew nothing about created something from scratch, something that was original, that's not out there yet. And I did it. I'm in the iTunes store. I definitely did it. So that was my intentions for it. I can't speak on the other companies, but I would think that, was only to uplift her, and, that's what I was doing, at least that I can say. So we're at the point now where, they sent me a letter. They wanted me to pull it completely. After putting, my time, my energy, my money, hours, sleepless nights, hours of looking at images, and not to mention, I have 2 friends that are invested in this. I could not feel good about just pulling the app down. Every hurdle that I faced that I thought was going to be an issue with regard to this app, God made a way. Every time I thought it wasn't going to work, it worked. Every time I thought I didn't have enough money, I had it. Every time, I thought an image wasn't going to come out right, or I was worried about this, worried about that, there was nothing to worry about. So the energy behind it and the way that I was moving and was being told to move, I knew that this was it. This is the right thing. And I still know that this is the right thing. There's no way that God gave me this idea. God made a way all the way up to this point just for the app to be removed and never heard of. That's impossible. That's impossible. Knowing what I went through, knowing what it took to get me here. I know that this is God given for me, and I had to step out and take it. Unfortunately, sometimes issues like this turn into big bank tank little bank. That's all. I don't have the wherewithal to fight a big company like that, but I know who I have behind me. So we got to the point where they asked me, once I pushed back and said, listen, I really don't feel like a cartoon image misappropriates, likeness. They, started to point out which ones they want to remove, but very vague, just a couple of descriptions, remove the one with the weave. Now, I don't know about you, but weave has been around for a long time, and I don't think anybody owns the rights to it. So, remove the one with the bustier. Same thing. You can find a bustier anywhere. So, when it got down to that, they kind of left it up to my discretion. It was very vague, and at my discretion, I felt like none of them misappropriate her like this, because again, I started with a base bee and kind of just built off of that. I have a bee sitting on the toilet, I have a bee holding balloons, I have a bee with an afro, I have all different type of things. Some of my emojis are not even bees, they just play on the idea of that. I have a crabs in a barrel emoji, I have a hive juice emoji. So I didn't think, based on that, I didn't think that it was fair to completely remove the app when inspiration has come to me for the app from all different places. I also have a Little Kim bee in there just to pay homage to Little Kim. Love you, Kim. So I didn't think it was fair to completely remove the app, and that would have crushed me, honestly. I just didn't think it was fair. So we're at the point now where they have asked me to supply each image that's within the app. And then I have asked them, okay, that's fine, but I have asked them then to respond with the actual original image that they are saying misappropriates her likeness, because, obviously it's very black and white for me. I would like to have, an attorney review the images and see if we can go from there. I am hoping that we can have some type of resolve. I mean, anybody out there that's creative, you know how that feels to create something, feel good about it, feel confident about it, whether it's a song, whether it's a poem, whether it's a story, and then just to have somebody just be like, no, no, it's not happening. You could imagine how that feels as a creative person, This was my outlet. I'm a single mother, just a black girl from Hollis, Queens, trying to do her thing, and that 99 cents for that app, I would hope it's not taking out money from someone else's pocket, because that wasn't my intentions. My intentions were to be great. I found a great idea. I did what I had to do. I executed it. God was with me every step of the way and made a way. Don't ask me how, but I just know that when you trust God, you're in the right place. So I executed this idea, and like I said, I know that God didn't bring me here to just, not do anything. This is just one of my creative outlets. It is about the art. This is just a stepping stone for me. I'm hoping to take this and be able to, take this and grow and do something else, because I've inspired myself, basically. I took something that I knew nothing about and executed it. So now you can't tell me nothing. I could do it all now. You know what I mean? So I'm ready for it. So I did, want to share my story a bit. just someone else may be inspired. I hope someone else is inspired to don't give up, you know, go for your dreams. You may not see a way, but it doesn't have to be your way. Sometimes we do things our way thinking it's the right way and it's not. In this situation, I completely stepped out on faith. Everything I did was based on faith. And, you know, the faith size of a mustard seed can move mountains. And that's exactly what happened in my situation. You know, I made it to the iTunes store. And I give God all the glory for that. It's just unfortunate, you know, you try to do these type of things with the intention of it being fun and being creative and inspiring yourself and encouraging yourself, and you know, you get that dark cloud sometimes over your head. But I have faith that it is going to work out and it's going to be resolved. And I would like you guys to just go and check out the app, and you let me know if, you know, what you think. Put it in the comments. What do you think? Do you think that I am misappropriating a likeness, or do you think that it's an original idea and it was executed well? Again, this is my first time around, so y'all may see some things that you like, what is this? What is that? Again, my first time, but, you know, I learned from this time for the next project that I want to do. So check it out. Let me know what you think. Again, I'm just a girl from Hollis, Queens, trying to do my thing. I'm trying to be great. Hopefully I can inspire others to be great. And thank you for listening. Check it out.